But Khabib versus Tony Ferguson, best fight in lightweight history. I can't think of another time where there's been, I mean, you're talking about a guy, a 9-fight win streak. His only loss was Michael Johnson, that he fully redeemed himself and ended up murking Johnson. It's well, he didn't redeem himself, did he? It's his only loss. It was unanimous decision. I'm thinking of Khabib. Just beat him. But I woke up this morning. I'm like, God, I don't know. I don't know who to pick. I don't know who to side with, because you look at this fight. Khabib is a guy. His striking is nothing special. His biggest win is Dos Anjos, but it was a pre-confident, pre-champion Dos Anjos. When, remember, Dos Anjos lost him, then went on that tear, became champion, all that, and then USADA kicked in. Mm-hmm. Then Tony Ferguson got a hold of him, and he beat him, I thought, easier. Not easier, but they both outclassed Dos Anjos. But you show me Khabib and show me his biggest win. I guess Dos Anjos, Johnson, he beat a dangerous Johnson, but also Johnson's terrible on the ground. So he got him to the ground, and it did work. This is, God, it's such a good fucking fight. And the UFC's hand was forced to make this fight, which for the purists, you're clapping your hands right now, because if Conor wasn't out, you wouldn't have got this fight, which is crazy. So Conor's off doing his thing with Mayweather and doing that. So they just interim belt, and Dana said the winner of this will fight Conor. We'll see. That's yet to be determined. So breaking this fight down, Khabib's a guy where he moves forward. His striking to me it's not a elite level. He's not going to beat Tony with his striking. He applies pressure. He gets, around your waist. And if he locks hands, you're going down. I don't care who you are. You're going to go for a ride. He's probably the best grappler at 155 on the ground as far as ground and pound control, everything like that. If you get down, it's extremely tough to get up. But again, I haven't seen him face any adversity. People always say that Michael Johnson fight, he got clipped early on. Michael Johnson's so goddamn explosive. Michael Johnson's more explosive than Tony Ferguson. So he clipped him. He wobbled him a little. That's all the danger, though. Everyone's like, yeah, look at that. I guess the only chink in his armor. Here's another fact for you. Khabib's, ready? Never lost a round, ever, in mixed martial arts. Ever. In 24 fights, has never lost a round. Ever. That's insane. So when I think of that, I'm like, now, can Tony win rounds against guys who's never lost a round? The answer to that is no. So then it leads me to this. Khabib's way to win is pressure, close the distance. He has good defense, get in tight, get him under, get him to the cage, get his hands around his waist and take him for a ride, and then get him to the ground and wear him out. In guard, I don't, and it's no shot at Eddie Bravo, anything like that, or anything on Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's jiu-jitsu is good in transition. His Darces, his Anacondas. From guard, he's not this Damian Maia Jacare guy that people want, that are, this hype that he's getting. He's not that guy. It's a good guard. He obviously trains with Eddie Bravo and 10th Planet. Who's he submitted off his back? Go ahead. Just give me one in the UFC. It's Darce chokes. It's rear naked chokes. That's how he wins. Darce, rear naked. So, and he's setting those Darce ups by the snap down. It's going to be hard to snap a guy like Khabib down, who's shorter, who has a Sambo wrestling background, who's never lost a round. Those snap downs are going to be tough to do. Tony has to use his reach, has to use his distance, his kicks, be unorthodox. Tony's an overall way better striker. So Khabib's going to be adding pressure. Tony's a pressure fighter with good footwork. Tony's more dangerous, where Tony can stop the fight. If this fight ends before the 5 rounds in 25 minutes, it's because Tony won by TKO, cut above the eye. I can see Tony slash him with his elbows from guard, because it's not a question, is Tony get taken down? It's how he's going to respond when he gets taken down. He's going to get taken down. I promise you, as the sun comes up tomorrow, Tony will get taken down by Khabib. It's just the way it goes. He's going to get taken down. But people forget, it's not going to be easy. He's going to have to work for it. Tony's background is wrestling. People forget that. He was a phenomenal wrestler. In college, in high school, that's his background. That's his foundation, is wrestling. We just forget about that because he has great jiu-jitsu in the transitions. He has great striking. He's unorthodox. He's tricky. He's fun to watch. But wrestling is his foundation. Well, it's Khabib's too. Khabib's just better. Khabib's not as good as transition. So that's where Tony can catch him with those Darces, with those Anacondas. I don't see him submitting Khabib from guard. I just don't see that happening. I can see him from his back when Khabib's on top of him, landing elbows and cutting Khabib up and getting stopped to doctor stoppage, TKO via doctor stoppage. I can see that. But if this fight goes the distance, it's going to be Khabib. Because Tony, there's going to be controversy with this fight because Tony's going to do damage. You're going to see Khabib's face pretty cut up. You're going to see his eyes swollen, a fight that he's never really been in. And I don't think you're going to see Tony, if it goes decision, that messed up. I don't think you're going to see cut stuff like that. I think he's going to be beat up, but he's not be as beat up as Khabib. And people are going to complain. But Khabib will slowly gain momentum and win rounds. And he's just putting rounds in the bank. It's like an investment. Rounds in the bank. And we're like, holy shit, that was a great fight. It's back and forth, but Khabib's landing takedowns. I don't think Tony's going to be able to take him down. Khabib's going to be landing takedowns, but he's going to get outclassed in striking. You're going to see some flashy stuff by Tony, and the audience can remember these flashy things and think Tony won the round. That's not the way we score the rounds. Khabib's winning round in the bank, and then Khabib wins via decision. You got Khabib decision. It's so tough to pick because it's hard to think of either guy losing. Yeah. Because just looking at Khabib, it's tough to pick against a guy who's never lost a round, ever. He's never lost a round, man. And, and Tony, he's looked phenomenal. I told you in 2017, he's the fighter to watch. I had to pick one guy. I said, you pick Tony. I'm sorry, 2016. He was my pick. Tony's the guy. He's going to be the breakout star. And now he's fighting for a world championship. But he's had the tougher road in the UFC. He's been more active. He finishes fights. But I just don't know how he's going to finish Khabib. I don't, and it's hard to pick a guy who's never lost a round. Yeah. My fear in picking Khabib is he hasn't beat really any big time guys. He did get caught against Johnson, but he still ended up winning the fight and just outclassing him and didn't look fatigued. We haven't seen him really get pushed cardio wise. He has the most takedowns ever in a fight. I think 21 against Pat Healy. So obviously the cardio is there. If you can take a guy 21 times down over and over. It's such a tough fucking fight to score. I can see Tony landing an elbow, wobble him, and finish him. I can see that, but I can see Tony, like I said, he's doing this flashy stuff, and the fan base and the viewers are like, oh my God, Tony's winning this, and you go decision, they're going to be upset. But the scoring, the way it works, is Khabib's rounds in the bank. And Tony Ferguson's coach, I see all the time, Rashad, I see him all the time at a boxing when we're talking. He goes, easiest fight of Tony's career. I went, excuse me? He was watching tape. Khabib does two things. I went, I'll give you that. He's very basic. He's meat and potatoes, but it's the best meat and potatoes in the world. No one's been able to deal with that, not even close. He goes, I know. He does this, then he gets to your hips, and that's all he wants to do is get to your hips on it. That's all he needs. He doesn't have to do anything else. He doesn't want to play this game with you. Another thing that scares me a little bit about Tony is he has this passion. He fights emotionally, fights with so much passion. Where Khabib, I think, if he's not landing takedowns early, he will entice Tony Ferguson to get in this sprawl and brawl game with him. And when he decides to plant his feet and brawl, he's going to get taken down. Because Tony's an emotional fighter, passion fighter. That's why we love him. That's why we like to watch him. He can get you in trouble when you fight a world-class guy like Khabib. I have Khabib via decision. But I don't mind someone betting on Tony as the underdog. 2-1 underdog. He's not a 2-1 underdog. To me, it's a pick'em with maybe a slight favorite.
But your slight favorite is obviously
Khabib. Yeah. Just because he's never lost a round. You look at his background. But again, he's not active. When we talk about AKA, people go, he comes from this great camp. Who's Tony's camp? AKA is the land of giants with Rockhold, Kane, DC. Who's Khabib training with? He's not training with Luke Rockhold. He's not training with DC. And if he is, you're not learning things. It's not the same. He's not training with Cain Velasquez. What are you talking about? But we picture this. I'm sure they have a good stable of smaller, hardcore guys, but not like the big guys.
It's so weird, man. I don't think about that stuff. You bring it up, and I start thinking about it. That's true. He trains, or he's with a bunch of amazing guys, but he can't really be training for them.
Tell me the best guy he trains with
for the fights that he's doing. Right?
Tell me the best guy. Tell me DC's getting him ready. This giant guy who used to fight heavyweight.
Completely
Tell me
different
Luke
body,
Rockhold is. No, that's not going to help you. They can give you advice as far as training. You learn nothing when you're a smaller guy going big guy. It's not. It's a different game. But I was just at a coffee shop and I went, I got to get Khabib, man. He just trains with a better team. I went, does he? And he goes, yeah. I went, why do you say that? And he goes, well, think it's AK. I went, name their superstars. They got Kane, Josh Thompson, he's older, Fitch, and they got Luke Rockhold and DC. I went, those guys are huge. Thompson and Fitch are old as fuck. What else you got?
Fitch isn't even there anymore. Or
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no. What do you say? Josh Koscheck? What do you?
No.
You guys just think you're putting them on this pedestal, and they do have a great team. If you're a bigger guy, who's Khabib training with? So don't give me that. But again, I picked Khabib in a slight decision, and I could be easily swayed the other way just because I love Tony. I'm a fan of Tony. It's such a tough pick, but I just think Khabib is going to be putting rounds in the bank. But there's going to be controversy unless Khabib just blows this away and just totally outclasses Tony, and he goes to another level which you haven't seen. That could happen for real too, and he's that great. Who you got?
Well, the last fight that I saw Tony have was that Lando Venata guy, and he worked him hard.
Oh, was it Dos Anjos?
No, not the last fight, but the last where he got worked hard.
Oh yeah,
was that guy Lando Venata? And then I thought, oh crap, so people can mess with Tony. But then I saw Khabib get rocked by Michael Johnson. I know he's not a big deal, but for me,
he's a big deal. He's ranked 6 at the time. He's just explosive.
I was just shocked that he got rocked.
I know.
So
I know. So
I'm with you 100% as far as to toss him up. But I see for some reason Khabib falling down with Tony. You know how Tony always scrambles and tries to put a submission on.
Always tries to get the neck.
One of them sort of lands, and then it's possible that he submits Khabib. Yeah,
that's fair. So you think Tony by submission? I like the pick.
It's a draw. No, yeah, I would say if I had to pick, I don't
mind that. You know why? Because Tony's the bigger guy and he's longer. Khabib's shorter and has a noggin on him. Look at Khabib's dome next time. Mm-hmm. He has a fat head on him.
Yeah. If
Tony in that transition can get his neck, I could easily see Tony doing that. And he's a lot bigger, longer dude. I can see that happening. It's not. I have no argument there. I'll take Khabib by decision, but I like your pick, man.
Totally toss up though. Just you have to pick that. That would be it. But it's totally a toss up.